Good evening, everyone. I welcome you to today's webinar. I'm Oman Bhatt from Tourism Outlook, and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. Today, we are presenting a webinar on Kashmir tourism, its survival and the revival. So I would like to introduce today's experts. First, we have Mr. Mahmood Ahmed Shah. He's Director, Industries and Commerce, Kashmir. Thank you for joining us, sir. Next, we have Mr. M.H. Mir. He has been ex-Special Secretary, Tourism and Culture. Thank you for joining, sir. Next, we have Mr. Nasir Ahmed Shah. He's Chairman for IATO J&K Chapter. Thank you for joining, sir. Next, we have Mr. Athar Yamin Narwari. He's President for Travel Agent Society of Kashmir. Sorry, sorry, I'm extremely sorry. He's General Secretary for Travel Agent Society of Kashmir. Next, we have Mr. Shamim Ahmed Shah. He has served as an office bearer for national and local associations and is presently serving as Secretary General for Jammu and Kashmir Tourism Alliance. Last but not least, we have Mr. Ashfaq Siddiq Doug. He's President of Travel Agents Association of Kashmir. Once again, I welcome you for today's webinar. Basically, the motive of today's webinar is to discuss the problems associated with Jammu and Kashmir tourism, wherein experts will put forward the suggestions and solutions in order to safeguard this industry. So before starting this webinar, there are some rules. In the first round, I would be posing the questions to all the experts. So 2 to 3 minutes would be given to every expert, wherein in the next round, we can do some cross questions. It would be followed by the last round, wherein experts would propose the solutions and suggestions in order to safeguard the industry so that we could wrap up the webinar as soon as possible. So I would start the webinar. My first question would be to Mr. Nasir Shah. Am I audible to you, sir? Could you please unmute?
Yeah, I'm audible. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. So my first question to you: how is the condition of J&K tourism different from the tourism we have in rest of India?
As compared to other states, our dependability is more on tourism in Kashmir when we talk in particular, as compared to other states, because other states are driven by larger industries. There is a completely industrial hub and industrial growth. Their agricultural production is quite huge as compared to Kashmir, and their connectivity with other tradings is much more than us. So our dependability on tourism is much larger if we compare with other activities we have over here. Of course, agriculture is one of the key figures in Kashmir, but then tourism is very long self-driven. Its other impact is also on horticulture we have over here and handicrafts. So if we cumulate it with handicrafts and with horticulture, this surely becomes a very big industry in Kashmir, where a large chunk of, I would rather say, not less than 40% population of Kashmir Valley depends on tourism activities.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now, my next question to Mr. Shamim Ahmed Shah. Sir, am I audible to you? Mr. Shamim Saab, am I audible to you, sir? You're not audible, sir. Could you please fix the mic for me?
Hello.
Yes, now you're audible. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, sir, my question to you: is there a need for the government to intervene and empower the departments so as to fight against the current situation we have?
The current situation, I would say about current situation, see, it is beyond any department's capability. world is trying to figure out a vaccine for it. So we cannot say that a particular department is going to come out and bail out tourism sector or any other sector. What we would, like is tourism department has to be very aggressive in digital marketing, in organizing webinars, which I feel, because Kashmir is totally dependent on incoming tourism rather than outbound. So Department of Tourism has been very passive till today, because today in the morning we had a FICCI webinar where advisor to Honorable Governor was present, Mr. Basir Khan Saab, and even our Secretary Tourism was present. This was first time that we have seen tourism presence in some webinar. So Department of, I would say Tourism Department as such has to, they have to check out a program where, they can organize. It's not all about that we have to invite the tourists right now. What it will convey is that, all the international destinations are creating, having webinars off and on for different markets, so that, every travel agent has this in back of his mind that, okay, this destination can offer me this thing extra, or even on the current products, we can give them, brief presentation, which Kashmir as such has been missing. So we need to prepare a vision document. What we need to have short-term goals, mid-term and long-term. Until and unless we don't have that vision document, I feel that, we are behind all the tourism destinations which have learned promotion of tourism from Kashmir itself. Kashmir being brand, uh, brand itself, we don't need marketing, but, our ground situation is such, other than COVID, that, we need to go off and on for marketing. So yes, once vaccine comes out, we may see, tourism picking up in Kashmir very nicely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, my next question to Mr. Ashfaq Siddiq Doug. Sir, am I audible to you?
Yeah, you are audible.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Sir, as you know that there is travel phobia among us, the people. So what do you think? How can we remove this travel phobia in order to eradicate, to bring back the tourism into action?
See, as far as the current pandemic is considered, it might take a little bit more time. Preferably, I think by July mid, we might come to the actual terms where exactly this COVID is going. So as of now, every traveler who intends to travel to any part of the world or state, for that matter, for leisure or tourism, is quite cautious, because considering the seriousness of this tourism being the first major hit due to this pandemic, it will we will have to wait and watch for some preferably a month or so that at least certain things start unfolding, and accordingly, based on the outcome, we will picture it out how exactly our next move should be.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, my next question, it's to Mr. Athar Yamin Narwari. So when it comes to tourism, sir, let's talk about the numbers. What are the figures of losses that this tourism industry has suffered till now?
Look, sir, regarding the figures, we don't have any the particular figure as of now. How much tourists we have received and how much we didn't receive. But in the whole, I can tell you one thing: Kashmir is a unique destination, and it holds a lot of potential in terms of tourism and adventure sports. It will be a positive outcome over a time and a situation stables. We hope for so within by next that we are already surviving with a lot of viruses. The COVID is right now here. Before that, there was an anti-Kashmir tourism scenario going on everywhere because of the various channels and all those things are going on. One thing, the word of mouth always plays an important role in the tourism industry. There's a saying in the tourism industry that one good tourist brings 10 more tourists. Okay, but it never happened with Kashmir. because of the negative publicity surrounding all over the channels on prime TVs everywhere. So that is also one more side effect for the Kashmir tourism, which plays a very vital role to put tourists back from the Kashmir destination Kashmir. So now we have hope that as soon as the vaccine will come and the situation will be under control, we will start again mass this promotions towards brand Kashmir, which is already there. So that's my point of view as of now.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now, my next question to Mr. Mahmood Shah Saab. Am I audible to you, sir? There's some issue, sir. You have muted, I think.
No, carry on, please.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Sir, you have been the director of tourism and believe you are vastly experienced in this field. Moreover, you are an adventurist yourself. And you know that J&K tourism has versely been affected. Sir, how do you assess the situation and how do you think we can come out of this depression?
Jacoji, there is no gainsay to the fact that tourism traffic world over is affected, and Kashmir is affected even worse because our problem started from August 5. Now, what can we do? I had a chat with the Secretary of Tourism also. People know that we had created a platform, the digital platform, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Insta, the YouTube. So it's a high time that aggressive content should be pushed on that platform. Second is our stakeholders have already done a lot of publicity, but unfortunately, whatever they did was undone by this COVID pandemic. So they need to start the publicity campaign again. But before we do that, we need to set up a protocol. Abhi aajkal I discharge my duties in addition to what I do as industries director. I also discharge my duties on the airport. So whosoever comes here is being sampled, and once he is sampled, he is sent to a quarantine. So we need to set a protocol for tourists as well, and we need to distinguish between the common travelers and the tourists. A protocol has to be set how they will be tested and where they will be allowed. So unless and until that protocol is clear, we will not be able to attract tourists. One good thing which has happened and which I saw happening in the airport is that a lot of laborers are returning, and by virtue of this, it's a good sign that once the labor force comes in, the factories will start. So this is somehow will send a positive signal that things are good. As far as Athar's argument is that there is a lot of negative publicity. Now, I suppose there is some other topic which is hogging the headlines. And this time around, we should gradually start building momentum to attract tourism. Now, what can be done? Which segment to attract? वे हम ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते tourist को आओ. अभी यात्रा start होने वाली है. So we need to try and divert some of the yatris to other tourism destinations also. That's one. Second is adventure tourism this time around can be promoted because adventure tourism is not a mass tourism. तो इसमें जो है लोग आते हैं, they will trek. इसमें कोई social distancing भी होगी, इतना congestion भी नहीं है. We have a lot of people up in the mountains also. So at least we can, to begin with, we can start this. Golf courses, thankfully, have been opened, and golf tourism simultaneously can be promoted. So we can work on many aspects which can help us start the tourism back. We also need to interact with the stakeholders. We also, the department, not me. I don't have a mandate to say this, but the department needs to interact with drivers, with poniwalas, with shikarawalas, set the protocols that what is to be done, do's and do nots, so that tourist feels comfortable and he also feels welcoming. That's cursory which I want to highlight here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your valuable comments. Now, my next question to Mr. M.H. Mir Saab, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
See, sir mentioned a point that there are various people which are directly associated with the tourism. When we talk about tourism, there are Puniwalas, Shikarawalas, many other people who are directly associated with this. Now, sir, my question to you is that we know that these people have taken loans to set up their businesses, whether it be Shikarawalas, whether it be Puniwalas or tour operators. Now, there is no work, so there is no income for them, but still they need to pay these installments. So, sir, what do you suggest? How should they deal with the situation right now?
You see, COVID-19 outbreak is a challenge not only to us, but it is a challenge all over the world. And if you see the global figures, particularly of World Tourism Organization, around 100 to 120 million people have been affected worldwide. I mean, say in terms of the job losses. And the economic loss is almost 2.20 trillion worldwide. It's not an easy task for the governments to handle it. You are absolutely correct that not only the Shikarawalas, Poniwalas, but even all stakeholders, even tour and travel operators, hoteliers, they have taken loan from the different financial institutions. And the financial institutions obviously are hand-pressed themselves. They cannot waive off the principal component or the interest component until and unless there's a clear policy on behalf of the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, particularly from the Honorable Prime Minister's desk. I have seen reports in the press for some weeks that our own trade organization, which is the Apex Organization of Industrialists, they have been pressing with the Government of India, both in Honorable Prime Minister's Office, Honorable Home Minister's Office, as well as Finance Minister's Office, even the local government as well, that there should be at least a staggering of the payment of the installments, and if it is possible, the 100% repayment on this. You know, the financial impact of the COVID-19 has been too much on the financial institutions per se. So banks are a little bit wary of that. If they go for this kind of thing right now, it would due to a lot of non-performing assets. But you have rightly pointed out that there are also small loan takers which have to be kept on board if the tourism industry is to be kept alive in the country, particularly in a, so to say, landlocked place like ours, Kashmir in particular. The financial institution in particular, which has been lending financial assistance to the local entrepreneurs, is principally the Jammu and Kashmir Bank. There is no doubt about it. The trade organizations, as well as Kashmir Chambers of Commerce and Industries, need to press with the top management of the Jammu and Kashmir Bank, State Financial Corporation, that why not to go for some kind of scheme, an innovative scheme, for rehabilitation of not only these Shikarawalas, Autowalas, but even the big hoteliers. You see, the hoteliers, in fact, are the worst hit lot right at the moment, because their capital input into the hotels is quite huge. Interest payments are very huge. And one of my hotelier friends was telling me very recently that he has received an electric bill which is in lakhs together. And if the person hasn't earned even a single penny since last August 5, so how come it is possible for that person to pay the electric bill to Power Development Department? So these kind of things have to be taken of note by the government of Jammu and Kashmir, and some kind of policy document has to be framed at their level to give a relief to all the stakeholders in the tourism sector right now.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So we are done with the round one. I shall proceed with round two. So I have a few questions in the round two. I would pose my first question to Mr. Ashfaq Siddiq Dag. Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sir. Mahmood Saab mentioned a point about protocols for the tourists, that there should be a complete protocol, and local travelers and the tourists we have, there should be a difference amongst them. So do you think this protocol thing would work as far as revival of the industry is concerned?
See, it's quite important that SOPs which are kept in place have to be implemented in letter and spirit, because at the end of the day, since tourism involves with the interaction from the people who come from outside our state. So having said that, there are more chances of this epidemic going further into our territory. So SOPs as of now, whether it's hotels, houseboats, or tour operators, or our transporters, a certain set of guidelines have to be, which are already in place, need to be further taken to the course, and we have to make it a point, we as stakeholders, whether we are association heads or our association members, the same information should be dissipated to our members. Having said that, what tourism department can do for the time being, in fact, we had a meeting yesterday with Commissioner Secretary and Mr. Director, our Director Tourism as well, where we suggest certain things, few of them being at least, because social media is quite active and every person has an accessibility to the social media as of now. What can be done? Small videos can be made, which can be actually translated into certain languages or recorded in certain languages. To start with, our local language, that's Kashmiri, because most of the people are not well versed with English as far as our lower domain of the tourism stakeholders is considered, like Poniwala, Shikarawalas, or for that matter, a few of the transporters as well. Then the other language which can be considered is Urdu. Urdu is quite spoken out here, and English as well, because that will have a larger impact and a larger reachability. So because right from the tourist's arrival, whether he is coming through surface or he's arriving by air, because those protocols have already been taken into consideration by the state government. So as far as the movement of the certain tourist is considered, whether it is Srinagar city, or for that matter, your excursion spots, be it Pahalgam, Gulmarg, or Sonmarg for that matter. So certain SOPs have to be kept in letter and spirit, because definitely one thing is quite sure, this epidemic is not going to go quite soon enough. Because having said that, again, there has been a of this in parts of Europe as well as in parts of India as well. So it's imperative on the
Ashfaq Saab,
stakeholders
I'm
that
sorry
these
to
SOPs are taken seriously.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Ashfaq Saab,
Yeah.
very valid points. Thank you so much for your valuable comments. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Now, very quickly,
Sure.
I'll pose question to Mr. Shamim Shah. Am I audible, sir? Very quickly, in very
Yes,
few
yes.
lines, I want answer from you regarding a question, sir. Has anybody come to the rescue of a common man whose only source of income is tourism? Is anyone listening to the cries of those people, sir, who have been impacted by this pandemic?
If you want one line answer, no, nobody. Just what I came to know from certain people that JK Bank has approached favor of the people who have taken loans, that there is a COVID-19 term loan scheme, something which they will give whatever their outstanding was as on 29th February 2020. 20% of that would be given to them with no mortgage, because mortgage would be given by Government of India, and they just have to pay interest component, and after 1 year they have to pay the EMIs in 36 installments. That's what has come to, that is general as such. But as far as tourism goes, nobody has come to our rescue, and as we know that Honorable Finance Minister, Government of India, she has said, when she was posed a question that what bailout packages for tourism, she said, "Theek hai." So we have just made a proverb that Government of India for tourism is "Theek hai," nothing else than that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, so much. So last question of this round, I'll go to Mr. Nasir Shah Saab. Am I audible to you, sir? Could you please
go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, so you are chairman of a national body, IATO. You are representing the J&K chapter. Sir, has any step been taken by IATO national body to safeguard the industry?
Yeah. First of all, I am not only chairman for IATO Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh chapter, I am also chairman for Jammu and Kashmir Pilgrim and Leisure Tour Operators Forum. And besides that, I am secretary Skull Club and also co-chairman for Tourism Subcommittee on PhD Chamber of Commerce. As far as IATO is concerned and other bodies are concerned, those who are connected with faith, like TAI, Editoi, IATO, ATOI, and certain national, commerce bodies like CII, FICCI, and all those things. I believe tourism trade bodies are definitely, trying their level best. You see, we should understand that we are experiencing unprecedented times now, and moving forward, we must live to the new normal. Building a positive mindset is about making an investment in ourselves and our future. So it is literally sustaining the world by adapting to it collectively and keep working through mistakes, failures, and changes. So we are all together driven by this entire world, entire tourism community. We are all together working in the larger interest of the trade and seeing that how new norms and new protocols can be changed and can be worked out. Because you see, this virus is going to probably continue for another year or so. We may have to live with it, and we'll have to see, for example, three states, Karnataka, Kerala, and Goa, have already started their tourism activities. The tourism flights are coming in there, and they have, made things easier, and new norms have been applied there. For example, any tourist who visits Goa can get COVID test done 48 hours before, and if he is negative, he can go to the Goa state, move around wherever he wants to.
Well, Nasir Saab, thank you so much. Nasir Saab, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you in the next round. Thank you so much for your valuable feedback. Now, I'll be starting with the last round. I'll be starting with Mr. Mahmood Shah. Mr. Mahmood Shah Saab. Sir, very quickly, in few lines, your suggestions in order to safeguard this industry.
Let me clear some of the doubts which were raised by the panelists. First, Nasir Saab ke baat ka main jawab dunga. Anybody coming here also, if he's carrying a COVID negative test which is 48 hours old, is allowed to go anywhere. Already जो है बहुत सारे business men या जो हमारे engineers हैं जो बाहर से आते हैं, they are carrying those tests and we are allowing them to go. So as on date, there is no such protocol in place कि हम टूरिस्ट को अलाउ नहीं करेंगे अगर वो टेस्ट साथ लाएगा. So now how to deal with tourists who will not carry the COVID negative certificate with them. तो उसमें already secretary tourism ने perhaps ये बात छेड़ी है कि we will set the protocols for people coming to valley. Second is as far as the distress of the industry is concerned, अभी आत्मनिर्भर भारत में जो पैकेज अनाउंस हुआ, अनफॉर्चुनेटली टूरिज्म इज नॉट कवर्ड, लेकिन हमने जो है कोशिश करनी है कि ऑल आवर टूरिज्म यूनिट्स शुड बी कवर्ड अंडर MSME. इनकी रजिस्ट्रेशन करनी है. थैंकफुली आज हमने कुछ दिन पहले मीटिंग की थी जिसमें हमने शायद जो हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज का स्टाफ है उनको कंफ्यूजन ये था कि अगर होटल की रजिस्ट्रेशन करनी है कौन से डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगने हैं. हमारी इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी में थे नहीं. अगर ट्रैवल एजेंट को रजिस्ट्रेशन करनी है कौन से डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगने हैं, और अगर गेस्ट हाउस की रजिस्ट्रेशन करनी है कौन से. तो आज जाके वो डॉक्यूमेंट फाइनल हुआ है और आज ही मैंने टूरिज्म डिपार्टमेंट को भी दिया है और उसको सर्कुलेट हम करेंगे ताकि एवरीबडी इज देयर इज नो रूम फॉर कंफ्यूजन कि रजिस्ट्रेशन कैसे करनी है. और आने वाले दिनों में मैंने कल ही डायरेक्टर टूरिज्म को चिट्ठी लिखी कि आप जो भी आपके पास रजिस्ट्रेशन रिन्यूअल के लिए आएगा, आप MSME की रजिस्ट्रेशन मैंडेटरी बनाओ ताकि जितने भी इंसेंटिव्स MSME को है वो टूरिज्म स्टेक होल्डर्स को भी मिले. एक और बात जो मैं हाईलाइट करना चाहूँगा और जो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट रहेगी सब स्टेक होल्डर्स को कि उद्योग आधार एक वेबसाइट है, वहाँ पे जाके आपको उद्योग आधार में रजिस्ट्रेशन करनी है और जितना भी आपका एक्सपोजर होगा, क्रेडिट एक्सपोजर अप टू 1 करोड़, उसका 2% आपके अकाउंट में इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन आएगा ऑटोमेटिकली. तो जितनी जल्दी ये उद्योग आधार रजिस्ट्रेशन हमारे यूनिट होल्डर्स करेंगे उतना जल्दी उनको जो है थोड़ी सी राहत मिलेगी by the incentives which are available with the industries department. These are the few things which I wanted to highlight for the knowledge of the stakeholders. और मेरी इस्तदा यही रहेगी कि इनके साथ जितने भी लोग जुड़े हैं उन पे 2 चीजों को काइंडली इम्प्रेस करें. 1, उद्योग आधार registration. 2nd is the registration of the MSMEs. Thank you.